Hi everybody, it's 3 p.m. Welcome to Dinner with Nanny Bubby. So happy to have you joining me today. Call your friends, tell everybody you know, tell them to tune in. Excited to share what we're making tonight. So I'm just going to tell you that Nanny Bubby has one really important rule, and that is that on Thursday night, we always have breakfast for dinner. And that takes so much stress out of what is going on in your day or in your night. Hey Mom, happy to have you joining me. She's my most avid watcher. And someone else is on too. Hey, Teresa Anderson, send me a thumbs up. Teresa Caligari, love you. So good to see you joining us. So I was just saying that Nanny Bubby's rule of thumb is that every Thursday night is breakfast for dinner. Thanks, Teresa. And here's why. You know, if you're cooking for a family, you're cooking for young children, Thursday nights, it's the end of the week. Everybody's tired. Everybody's looking forward to Friday, that's for sure. And Thursday night is one of the toughest nights. Hey, my husband is here. He wants to know what we're having for dinner too. So it's always breakfast for dinner on Thursday night. And so what happens is, especially when my children were young, we could have waffles, we could have pancakes, we could have omelets, we can have any kind of anything, and everybody would be so excited. Well, it's breakfast for dinner tonight. What do you want? And so it just took a lot of the stress out of the dinner time and the dinner hour. And so what I do now is actually, and don't tell my husband, even though he's watching right now, is that, hey, Jennifer Tuttle, and Doug, good to see you guys. Thanks for being here. And Tawny, hey you guys, and Lance. All right, we got a lot of people on today to talk about breakfast for dinner and 3 p.m. dinner with Nanny Bubby. Thanks for being here. So on Fridays, you know, it becomes a tradition where you're so tired on a Thursday, you're done with the week, you can't wait for school to be done or even work to be done, and breakfast for dinner is just, it kind of lights up the night and makes everything easy. And what I do now, what I was saying, and don't tell my husband even though he's watching, is that I go through the refrigerator and find kind of what is left over from the week, and I turn that into an omelet, and that's what I make and serve into an omelet, and everybody in this house absolutely loves it. But today, what I'm doing is I'm gonna make a shakshuka recipe. Now, a couple of you joined us for the shakshuka, that's such a mouthful, sorry about that. Shakshuka, cooking class that we did, and it really was fabulous. And I absolutely, hey Sherry, thanks for joining us. I absolutely love shakshuka. It's an Israeli dish, and it's served with eggs at the end of the night. And just so you know, I'm not only just doing this live, but I'm also the cameraman, so I have to do a lot of turns with this iPhone here. So this is what we do. We're going to start out 2 tablespoons, let me turn this so that you can see, 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Can you see that, everybody? There we go. And I'm gonna turn this on. This burner was given to me, oh, it really was, oops, sorry about that. I lost you guys, sorry about that. Let me tighten this up. Okay. You know, live TV, and when you're your own camera person, it's a little bit tough. Okay, so there you go. All right, so 2 tablespoons of olive oil. My sister gave me this burner. It's an induction burner, and my La Crusades all work on it, so I use it here so that my back is not to you from standing here. So we're gonna heat up this olive oil, kind of coat the pan with it. The burner just turned off. Okay, and we're going to add 2 onions to this, which kind of seems like a lot, but I can assure you, as this cooks down, now at the end of this dish, you add eggs to it, and you let the eggs steam. Now I'm going to stop making it before we put the eggs in, because if I put the eggs in now, by the time my husband and family got home, it would be like shoe leather. The eggs would be, and I don't want to do that, that's for sure. He wouldn't be none too happy that I'm cooking all day for everybody but him. So let's get these onions going. Some of the things that we're going to add into this is we're going to add, and you can email me at gather@nannybubby.com, gather, and I will email you any of these recipes that you see me doing at 3 p.m. for Dinner with Nanny Bubby. So I'm just going to tell you some of the spices that we're going to add into this as we get going. One of them is cumin, which we used last night, which is a spice I've really learned to like, this cumin. It adds really fabulous to everything. Hey, Colette Brown, so glad to have you here. I'm going to talk about you in our interview that we're going to be doing in just a minute. I also add my favorite spice of all time, sweet smoked paprika. You're going to love that when I tell you all about that. Give it a little heat with this red chili pepper. But let me tell you, one of the things that I'm adding, which I resist, is coriander. Now, let me tell you, coriander originates from cilantro, from the seeds of cilantro. Now, my mom and I have this disagreement, which is she loves cilantro. She can eat it on everything. I hate cilantro and can't stand it on anything. But go figure that the truth is that I must genetically, in that aspect, take after my father and not my mother, because there are certain people who have a genetic predisposition to having cilantro taste like soap. And that's what happens to me. I cannot eat cilantro. I hate the taste of it. I substitute basil for cilantro wherever I can. My mother will eat it live. Let's see, what do you say? Oh, Colette says she loves coriander. Betty Walker is joining us. Thank you. So if you are one of those that really don't like cilantro, give me a thumbs up right now. I'd like to know how many of you don't. To me, it tastes like soap. I can't eat it, but as I said, my mom could eat it just right off the tree. Coriander is ground seed of the cilantro, and in this dish, it doesn't taste like cilantro at all, and it doesn't smell like it either. It's really good. Hey, Bobby Robbins, thanks for joining us. I've got a lot of people watching today. We're making shakshuka. Oh, Tawny does not like cilantro either. See? You got that same genetic makeup. Today we're making shakshuka. If you email me at gather@nannybubby.com, I'll send you this recipe if you can see it. This originated from my dear friend Tanya Murray. This is her recipe, but I'm going to do something a little bit different. I saw my dear friend Colette, who's watching right now, made the shakshuka recipe, and hers was really red and looked roasted and beautiful, and I asked her why hers was so red when mine was pink. And she said she left out the dairy because she has an inflammation issue with dairy, and she leaves dairy out of most everything that she does, at least cow's milk dairy, because she did use the feta. And I realized that I actually don't like cream of any kind in like a tomato base, because I will never order pasta with vodka sauce because the vodka sauce is pink. I don't like that. I love pink everything, but I don't like it in my tomato sauce. So I never order the vodka sauce, and I never really order anything that has that pink tone when it should be deep and red and beautiful. So I opt for this recipe today to leave out the cream and just see if it can look as beautiful as Colette's when she made it. Also, I wanted to tell you about Colette. So Colette is, hold on, I just did something wrong here. Colette is a skincare specialist. She's a wellness concierge, so she has a lot of experience and a lot of education. And she is finding that people are breaking out, their faces are breaking out from wearing masks all day for their jobs. And what has happened is a new disease has come since coronavirus, which is called maskne, which stands for mask acne, maskne. And so my very first interview that I'm going to be doing in the Gather with Nanny Bubby Facebook page on November 10th, oh, it's such a mouthful, but it's getting easier every day for me, is going to be an interview with Colette. And get your questions ready, and we are going to have an interview with her live on November 10th and talk about masking and talk about eating to clear your skin. Now, how amazing is that, to eat to clear your skin? I mean, I can't think of anything better than not just feeding yourself, but giving yourself a nutritional boost, which is good for your hair your skin and everything else. So these onions are just starting, if you can see, they're just starting to get, I can't hold it up because the burner stops. Okay, because it's an induction burner. And now we're going to add about 5 to 6 cloves of garlic. Now in this recipe, because they're so, it's so dense. So yesterday I said 6, oh, Colette says she's so excited to join us on November 10th. So yesterday I didn't do 6 cloves of garlic. I just did 3 because I said 6 cloves of garlic is a lot on a Wednesday night. And it's a lot on a Thursday night too. I mean, we can all admit that to each other. But in this recipe, with as much tomato sauce as in this recipe, I don't think 5 or 6 cloves of garlic is really too much. It gives the eggs a great flavor. The acid in the tomato really cooks down the garlic, and you really don't have to worry about eating too much garlic. So again, if you want this recipe, email me at gatherwithnannybubby, gather@nannybubby.com. And I will send you out this amazing recipe because it's so fantastic. Again, it was developed by my dear friend Tanya Murray. And you can either put in the sour cream or you can leave it out like I am going to do tonight. My husband loves this dish, so if he heard that that's what I'm making, I'm sure he's very excited. Okay, so into the pot with the chopped garlic. Okay, so, all right, now, whether you've written a recipe yourself, or whether you've made it for 30 years, you have to read your own recipe. And that the reason why is you get going, you get distracted, the phone rings, you get a text, whatever it is, when you get distracted, you might leave out the one key ingredient that makes this dish really sing, makes it really good. So you always have to read through a recipe just to make sure there isn't something that you've left out. So I'm going to do that right now. Here we go. 5 cloves of garlic. Oh, 2 bell peppers. So let's talk about bell peppers. I want you to see how I cut these bell peppers. So, hey, Julianne Silber. Okay, so let me turn this down. It smells like it's burning a little bit. Okay, hold on. I'm going to throw a little more olive oil in there so it doesn't start to burn. Okay, there we go. Okay, let me show you how I cut these bell peppers. It's the most fun thing that I do. Tell me if you have a special way to cut your bell peppers. I hope you can see it. So, just right down the ribs. Look at that. Right down the ribs. Right down. Get the sort of coarse inner skin. You cut right over it. There you go. How do you like that? Take this, all those seeds, the core, right into the garbage. Right? Okay. Let's do the other one. Same thing. Right down the sides. Again, the ribs. No seeds in this one. Actually, no seeds in the other one. There are some seeds in this. Okay. Into the garbage with this. Let me just rinse this out. Okay. And I washed and sanitized these peppers before we took the air. As you know, I use food-grade hydrogen peroxide, and that way I can be sure, even if it's organic, that it's good. So we're going to chop up that everything is clean. You know, produce is touched by a lot of hands by the time it gets to us. So unless it's grown in Nanny Bubby's garden, unless it's grown there, I always sanitize it with a food-grade hydrogen peroxide. And if you're looking for more information on that, you can go to nannybubby.com, go to Game Changers, and you will see the link to the food-grade hydrogen peroxide there. Okay, and I'm going to be making the Shakshuka recipe on Channel 8, probably in early December. And so when I do, you will then find that recipe on nannybubby.com as well. But if you want this Shakshuka recipe before, all you have to do is email me at gather@nannybubby.com and ask for the recipe, and I am happy to send it to you. Okay, tomorrow also on Channel 8, I'm going to be live on Channel 8. I wish I could run it live on Facebook while I'm doing it, but I can't. I'm going to be making hot dog mummies. How do you like that? Hot dog mummies. They're so fun. They're just quarter-pounder hot dogs. I use the Hebrew National because I love that brand. You can always trust it because they answer to a higher power. That's their commercial. I always think that's the cutest thing to say. I love that marketing. Whoever thought of that line were geniuses. Anyway, I'm making mummies out of these hot dogs with Pillsbury crescent rolls cut up to make it look like bandages. And so I hope you join me tomorrow on KLAS 8 News, KLAS TV 8 News Now. So it's on at 3 o'clock. And that'll be lots of fun. We're going to be celebrating Halloween. I'm going to be dressed up in a Halloween outfit. So let me ask you this while I'm chopping these peppers for the shakshuka, and I'm going to show you what the next step is. Until I get to that next step, let me ask you, how about you guys vote? Should I be Minnie Mouse or should I be a cat? Now I was thinking, if you're a cat for Halloween and you're eating dogs, isn't that kind of cute? Or is that dumb? My daughter thought it was dumb. I kind of thought it was cute. So let me see what you think. Hey, Susan Harrison, love you for watching. Thank you so much. Who else is here? She loves Hebrew National, she says. So let's have a vote. Those of you that are watching, should I be Minnie Mouse tomorrow or should I be a cat? Tell me what you think. Okay. Peppers are all chopped. Garlic is chopped. All right. Into the pot. There we go. Let's see. Bobby Robbins. What did Bobby Robbins say besides me too? Oh, Susan Harrison says Minnie Mouse. Bobby Robbins, Minnie Mouse. Okay. There's two. But Bobby, what did you say, Bobby Robbins? Because all I saw is that you said me too. So what did you say? Colette said cat. Let's see. Jennifer Tuttle. Yes, I kind of think I could have fun as Minnie Mouse. I think a cat might be too sexy for TV and for Nanny Bubby, right? I'd have to be just Marlo Letitia to be a cat. Which I could pull off, I'm hoping, even at my age. Okay, let's see. My mom says a cat because my mother, so I always tell this story. I'm just going to tell you this. It's a funny story. My mother's watching. She's probably never heard this story, but I was listening to Dr. Laura back in the day when Dr. Laura was such a big hit, and it was Mother's Day, and she was reading a list of 10 things that you'll never hear your mother say to you. And one of those things was, why are you dressed so conservative? Go back upstairs and put something else on so you look a little sexier. And I stepped back and thought, really? Your mom's not to say that to you? Because my mother used to say that to me all the time. Why do you dress so conservative? You should dress a little sexier. One of these days you're going to regret you didn't do that. So anyway, I always thought that was so funny. Because if moms aren't supposed to say that to you, my mom used to say that to me all the time. Here's another thing she used to say to me. She always said, I'm going to show you this, to make sure that you wash the tops of all your cans before you open them. The reason why is there's dust, there's dirt, there could even be aluminum shavings still on top. You don't know who's touched them. In the age of Corona, you really need to always wash the cans, and I did. So this is my really cool can opener. Nobody in this house knows how to use this can opener. It's really kind of funny. It is unique. You have to get the right lock on it. So here we go. Okay. So are you still voting, everybody? Cat or... There we go. And then there's little teeth on there. You can see it, and you grab that, and you lift it off. Okay. Let's see how these onions and peppers are doing. We've got a lot of people joining us today. Had 12. Oh, Bobby Robbins said her mom said that too. What could I say? I'm firstborn and oldest, and so I was always way more conservative than the rest of the family. All right, so going back to the recipe, we are going to put in 3/4 of a teaspoon of smoked paprika, but I got news for you. I'm not doing 3/4 of a teaspoon. I love smoked paprika, and I'm going to tell you this. The Williams-Sonoma sweet smoked paprika is also the very best you can use. So yesterday I had 2 sisters that joined me, Susie and Heather. And today, Helene is joining me. Hey, Helene, my 3rd sister. How do you like that? Okay. Oh, it smells so good. I wish you were here to smell that sweet, oh, that paprika, that sweet smoked paprika. It smells so good. I love it. Okay, what's next? A teaspoon of the ground cumin, my new very favorite spice. What did I say? Yep, 1 teaspoon, there you go. And 1 teaspoon of coriander. I just talked about coriander comes from cilantro. Some people can't eat cilantro. I'm one of them because cilantro tastes like soap to me. Okay. But that does not smell like cilantro, and it doesn't smell like soap either. I also said, for those of you who just joined me, is that every Thursday night in the Letitia household, in Nanny Bubby's house, hey, Victoria Seaman. Hey, our city councilwoman, Victoria Seaman, is joining us today. Thank you, Victoria. You should tune in every day at 3 o'clock to see what Nanny Bubby's cooking for dinner and have dinner with Nanny Bubby. My goal here is to help you get rid of the dinner dreads, because who doesn't dread some days coming home and cooking? You're so tired you don't know what to do. And my promise to you is I am going to help you learn how to absolutely love making dinner with and for your family. That's my promise. So tune in every day at 3 o'clock. And if you want any of these recipes, email me at gather@nannybubby.com and I will get you the recipe. So there we go. So this is looking good. These are all coming down very soft. I call it sweating them, which means that the steam and everything, we're not browning them, but we're sweating them. I recently found that word in a recipe and thought, how would I understand what that meant? And this is what it is. We're sweating them with the heat. We're steaming them. And I think that, and they're getting, now with the seasoning in it, oh my gosh, it's gotten thick. Let me see if I can just tilt this for you guys to see. Yep, there you go. There we go. All right. Gets thicker. Somebody said they can't see my face. I hope you can see it now. Okay, there we go. All right, so what comes next? 1½ teaspoons of salt. Yesterday I showed you how to grind pepper the easy way, and how I grind it about maybe once every 2 to 3 weeks, and then if I'm having company, no matter how much pepper I have left, when I start cooking for entertaining, I dump that pepper and I just grind all brand new pepper. And then also, let's see, red chili. Oh, let's talk about sugar. So yesterday's recipe called for 2 tablespoons of sugar, and there was no way I was going to put that in the recipe because my husband would not have eaten it. So I put in English toffee stevia because that's all I had. But yesterday's dish, because it had sweet potatoes, it really, and it called for brown sugar actually, for brown sugar. I thought this would make a good alternative. But still, this is all I have. So it calls for 2 teaspoons of sugar. I'm going to put in 1 teaspoon of the English toffee. There we go. And I tried to do this yesterday and I ended up just pouring it. But let me, if you can see, putting this in there. Hey, I'm getting pretty good at being my own camera person and cooking at the same time. Not bad. Nobody's complained. Okay. There goes the stevia. Tom, give me a thumbs up if you know that I'm using your stevia instead of sugar. Oh, it smells really good, to be honest with you. Okay, there we go. Now we are going to put in 2 28-ounce cans of fire roasted. I prefer the fire roasted tomatoes. These are diced and crushed. So we're going to put in, I think first the crushed. Go. Awesome. Just spread that around. You kind of deglaze the pan with the crushed tomatoes. Look at how rich and red that is. Okay, someone who just tuned in said, what are you making? And I'm making shakshuka, which is an Israeli dish. Every Thursday, Nanny Bubby's house has breakfast for dinner, which is awesome I love breakfast for dinner, and it takes so much stress out of wondering, what do I do? It's also a great thing for making use of your leftovers. So I will make omelets with leftover chicken or leftover asparagus with cheese, or some feta, whatever I have left over, I make omelets for Tom. And he doesn't mind leftovers. And if you do mind leftovers, you would never know that you were eating leftovers, because it's coming in a very fresh omelet with herbs from Nanny Bubby's garden, and it's just really, really good. So this is now going to come to a simmer. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make it come to a simmer. I'm going to turn it up one. There we go. And what this is going to do, everyone, is going to cook down about half of the liquid that we have here. It's going to get really beautiful and really thick. Now, at this point, once it cooks down, or even before, let's say you started making this, maybe around 4, but your family isn't coming home to 6. I'm going to turn this off once it cooks down, and I am going to wait until the family comes home. Hey, Patty Keneally, thank you for being here. So happy to have you. We're making shakshuka, because every Thursday in Nanny Bubby's kitchen, it's breakfast for dinner. So there's that. I'm going to let this cook down. I'm going to put the top on it, and I'm going to let it sit. Then when my family gets in the door and it's time for dinner, I'm going to heat this up, and I'm going to make a well. And it'll be thick enough, because the wells right now are not actually keeping. So let me just show you. As I take this and I try to make a well in this, it doesn't happen, because it's still too filled with juice and water. But as it cooks down and as it gets thick, you can take your spoon, make a well, and I'm going to crack eggs into this shakshuka. And then I'm going to let them cook, almost like poaching them in this amazing tomato sauce. And it's incredible how it tastes. And then at the end, you put the top on so that the egg yolks can kind of get a little bit covered. You need to add some heat. Let's do about a ½ teaspoon of these red peppers. Now, the other thing you can do, if you make a big batch of this as it's cooking down, either before it cooks down or after it cooks down, you can take it and put it in quart-sized freezer containers and freeze it, so that maybe a week or 2 from now you come home and you didn't have time to actually make the base shakshuka, but don't worry. It's in there. You cooked a big batch of it and froze half of it, and that way everybody gets a really good dinner, and all you have to do is add the eggs. Defrost it maybe a little earlier in the day, and there you go. So this is going to cook up and get done. So after you put the eggs, or before you put the eggs in, you add braising greens. So these braising greens, if you can see, came to me from Desert Bloom Farms, which is an organic farm on the way to Pahrump, just off the highway, just over the border in California. And what's really great about being part of a community-supported agriculture is everybody pays the cost of bringing it from the farm into the city. And in this case, Desert Bloom actually delivers. So I get, every Tuesday, the farm delivers all these fresh vegetables right to my door. I love it. You can look them up online, Desert Bloom Farms. And they're just about 90 miles outside of Las Vegas. And I just absolutely love dealing with them. I love their organic fruits and vegetables, mostly vegetables that I get and share with my family. So these are the braising greens. I'm just going to take them, if you can see, and just scatter them into here. Oh, that should be about enough. And these are going to steam down and just steam right into the shakshuka. So once again, I wanted to tell you, all of you, just to remind you, that on November 10th, we're going to be doing a live interview in the Gather with Nanny Bubby Facebook group. So if you are not a part of our Gather with Nanny Bubby group, please go over there and ask to join. You just answer a few easy questions and we let you in. And those are where the interviews are going to be every Tuesday and Thursday. Colette Brown is going to be talking about a new disease that came our way, or a new physical issue that came our way once Corona hit, and that is many of us are breaking out with what's called maskne, which is two words formed together, mask and acne. Many people wearing masks all day at their jobs, in banks or in the restaurant industries, or cashiers or in the grocery store, are breaking out in acne due to, wearing a mask all day. Colette has healed people's acne and skin through the foods they eat, and she's going to talk to us about how she does that and what she recommends for our skin. She has beautiful skin, I can tell you, so I'm really excited to be interviewing her Tuesday, November 10th, in the Gather with Nanny Bubby Facebook group. So how we're working this, and please tell everybody you know, or share this video once I post it with friends and family. They can join me at 3 o'clock every day, and we call it, it's 3 p.m., it's Dinner with Nanny Bubby, and you can join me here. My promise is that I'm going to help you put joy and happiness into your cooking of dinner. No more dinner dreads. I promise you that tuning in and working with me and doing what I do is going to help you love cooking dinner for your family. That's so necessary. So many of us dread it, and we don't have to. Cooking was not supposed to be fast. It was not supposed to be easy. It was supposed to be loving. The kitchen is the center of your universe for your children, for your family, and that is where all things wonderful begin and end. Think about your own happy memories. So many of them take place in the kitchen with your mother or your grandmother, your father, whomever was the primary cook. So that's my promise to all of you, is you're going to love making dinner as you continue to cook with me. So at the end, after we put in, I have to turn this so you can see it. After we put in the eggs and we cook them and steam them like poached eggs in the tomato sauce, we're going to take the Israeli feta. This comes from Trader Joe's. It is the best feta on the market. It's so good, so good. Crumble it up, put it on top. Take this to the table with the eggs already cooked in it. I'll take pictures tonight and post them so you can see the finished product and put it on the table. Now also, this pairs really nice with a fresh green salad, and my salad is starting to get a little rusty looking, and I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to make a nice, beautiful green salad to go with this tonight. I think those that walk in the door for dinner are going to be very, very happy. So that's it for today. Mwah. I love you all. Thank you for joining me. We had a lot of people show up today. So when I post the video, if you think there's even one person in your life who would love to be able to cook with love in their hearts and not be stressed, that is my promise, is to help share this information and the fun of doing it with everybody so that they too can have dinner with Nanny Bubby, but most importantly, start spreading love like butter. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you all for joining me. Love you. Bye. See you tomorrow at 3 o'clock.